Countdown to reality.
Oh, shit.
That's not what we're reviewing today.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to another Turntable Tuesday. And in case you can't tell from the shirt and the necklace I always wear,
On today's episode of Turntable Tuesday, we will be reviewing and talking about the album...
Sound of Madness from Shinedown.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Wow.
I had to.
So, for my part, Shinedown is... I used to say Bon Jovi was my favorite artist. No, Shinedown is my favorite band. And that's nothing against... There are a lot of bands that I really like. Shinedown just tops them off. And they're one of the three bands that I quote as having saved my life. So,
Hell yeah. I used to hate music like this. I absolutely despised what I called radio rock because, like, the newer rock that was coming out, stuff like, I wasn't a huge fan of Puddle of Mud or Creed or stuff. That was radio rock.
You are bleeping these, right? Anyway.
And I was never a big fan of it until Eric showed me Shinedown. I had heard them before, but it never really clicked because I just categorized it as radio rock.
well, all respect to the musicianship, but I'm still not a big fan of Creed.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, once Eric showed me Shinedown and actually played their stuff for me, I was like, oh, I kind of like this. Like, it literally was like a switch went off, and I was like, wow, all right, I kind of like this. And
Switch went off and shined down on you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Admittedly, Shinedown is quite a bit different from a lot of the other, that category.
Yeah.
Radio rock, Puddle of Mud, Theory of the Dead Man, that kind of thing. And that's not knocking any of these bands, except maybe Creed a little bit.
But I mean, him showing me Shinedown actually opened my eyes a little bit more to...
My eyes are open.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it actually opened my eyes a little bit to some of those bands like Theory of a Dead Man, Hinder, stuff like that, because now I had a little bit more of appreciation for the music and not just the category itself.
Yeah, you started to separate the artists from the label.
Yeah.
Basically. Which honestly you should always do. Just because something is labeled under a category that you don't like doesn't mean you're not going to like it.
That's damn true.
That's right. Not all assholes are assholes.
No?
Yep. All right.
Nope.
You'll get that when you get.
So yeah, Shinedown, the album Sound of Madness, 2008.
This was their third album, so like a lot of rock bands, and Hinder actually included, if you're counting major label releases. Shinedown, I don't feel had the sophomore curse. I've mentioned this. I think I've mentioned this before. What that was especially in the 80s. They referred to it as the sophomore curse. Like, your first album had one or two really big hits, and then your second album flopped. And then your third album blew you up everywhere.
And if you actually look back in time and you look in the 80s and you look at all those 80s hair bands and everything like that, it is 100% true.
Well, I mentioned Bon Jovi. You can look at them.
Yep.
Their first album had Runaway. Now, their second album had a couple of songs that they still play, but overall, their second album flopped. Slippery When Wet, thank God for John fixing the cover of that.
Yeah.
That's a story for another time. I think we're covering that album next year. But Slippery When Wet blew them up, and that actually does tie into this album a little bit. Bon Jovi toured Slippery When Wet for almost 3 years. And there were 10 songs on that album. They released 5 of them as singles. That is, like, at the time, anyway, that was unprecedented. And they said in interviews, we could have released every song on that album as a single.
And they could have, yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. They toured that album for 2.5 years. That is, even to this day, That is unheard of. Shinedown toured Sound of Madness for 2.5 years. And actually a little bit longer because they also had the acoustic show go after
Well, yeah, they did the whole Sound of Madness thing, Carnival of Madness thing.
Yeah.
They did that for.
Did they do that on cruise ships?
No, but that would have been awesome.
Okay, yeah.
No, the Carnival of Madness became like their yearly sort of. I don't want to say it wasn't a festival. It wasn't like a one place, but their yearly little tour.
Yeah.
The year that my wife and I met, if we'd have been able to afford and would have been willing to drive to Erie, it was Shinedown, Hailstorm, Papa Roach, and Blackstone Cherry.
Yeah.
We absolutely would have gone to that.
But they did that, and then they did the Sound of Madness acoustic thing that they recorded in Minneapolis or
that was Kansas City.
Kansas City, and it was like they toured that for almost a year.
Yeah.
So you're talking
That
three.
was when he had a beard.
Yeah, you're talking 3 years of touring off of the same album.
Right. Now the acoustic thing was, a little bit different. It wasn't the stress of a full band tour. It was more of a storyteller's type thing. But still, they toured this album, and like a lot of those other albums, I can also compare it to Slippery When Wet, and not just because Bon Jovi was, my previous favorite band. That's a really good album to be able to compare this to. I wouldn't say that the album is cohesive, but every song is its own amazing thing.
Yep.
Sound of Madness is the same way. I wouldn't call it a cohesive album like especially their last two have been. Attention, Attention, and Planet Zero.
Their last two albums have had like, okay, we have this one message we want to get out, and we're gonna write a whole album about this one message.
Amaryllis was coherent.
Yeah.
But that was also more of a songwriter's album. And Threat to Survival, which is where this necklace came from. Thank you, Mom. The album came out a week.
You're welcome. She was listening.
The album came out a week after my birthday, so she got me the T-shirt, necklace, CD pack for my birthday. That one.
What a woman.
It was together, but it was. I wouldn't say it was cohesive, but if you go back and watch interviews with Brent, you know why.
Yeah.
But that's not the album we're talking about. We're talking about Sound of Madness, which is what blew them up. And damn near every song on here, there's 11 songs on this, on the original.
Excuse me. Yeah.
The deluxe.
Deluxe, yeah.
20 because it included stuff that they did for Guitar Hero, as well as Her Name is Alice and Diamond Eyes.
Yep.
And Diamond Eyes was for the first Expendables movie, if you are aware of that. And Her Name is Alice was for the first Alice in Wonderland movie soundtrack.
Yep. So the first song on the album is Devour. And let me tell you, what a way to open up an album. This song, like, it immediately packs a punch. And it opens up and it's, the lyrics hit you, the music hits you, everything hits you, and it's just, boom, let's go forward. It immediately just opens up with that punch. And it follows into the title track, Sound of Madness. Which slows down a little bit, but...
Yeah, but still keeps that... That's where the fist in the air comes from. It still keeps that, that pumping. It's not as fast, but it's... Okay, you gotta bring it down a notch so people don't get worn out.
Yeah.
It's still going.
And it...
Yeah, he even said, in the acoustic thing, he said, that's a really bold claim to make when you tell somebody I created the Sound of Madness.
Yeah.
And it's, I hate to put it this way, if you understand that statement, then you understand that statement. If you don't understand that statement, either be glad you don't or you're just not going to.
Pretty much. So, Terry, you've listened to the album. What are your opinions on, the first two songs, the opening, pretty much of the album?
Devour I wasn't as familiar with. I actually just listened to it. Here, I know I've listened to the album, but it's been quite a while. Sound of Madness was, once again, yeah, it is a bold claim to make, and but it was a great song. It was you know, see, to me, that was the one that hit me.
Yeah.
Right away, and so I was like, I was struck by Shinedown then.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, with Sound of Madness, and of course, Second Chance just.
Yeah, so kick it to you for that song.
Yeah.
You're the one with the biggest hit on that song.
Okay, yeah, I probably because of my
Story time with Terry?
my upbringing, yeah, and my family situations, and if you would, it wasn't like in your case, you grew up with me and your mother, always there, yeah. There was never a question that we would be there. I don't. There should never have been, and that in itself was something that was foreign to me. So when I, tell my mother, tell my father, I hope they understand. You know,
Sometimes goodbye is a second chance.
yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what happened with me when I walked away from the first time I was kicked out of my parents' home, when I was 15, right, and the second time, after I went back years later, I walked away from it simply because I needed a second chance. That pressure wasn't going to be there for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make my own pressure, and I did. I made it harder on myself walking away from it, but at the same time, I absolutely,
yours.
yeah, right. It was my choice. So yeah, uh, so it did hit home. I mean, and whether or not that's the way it was written or that's why it was written, that's the way I took it, or that's the way I felt it.
Yeah.
So, so the song did mean something to me. It was kind of like you had brought up about "Carry Me, Carry," right? Yeah, it was just
On yesterday's
right.
Music Talk Monday, I mentioned.
Yeah, and that was the same way. It certainly wouldn't hit a lot of people like it did me.
No,
Yeah.
because after you told me that story,
Yeah,
which it's a longer story. So
Yeah, it
we'll
is,
get into
yeah.
it here. But after you told me that story, it's like, shit. Did they talk to you before they wrote it?
right. Exactly. I mean, it was one of those where you're going, okay, this. If it happened twice, it happened too often.
Yeah.
So.
Like, I have two nickels, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So. So anyway, yeah, that was a very. I don't want to say it was a turning point in my musical journey, but it certainly was a kind of a nice detour from it.
Yeah.
And it was, when you consider how much older I am and what I was listening to all the way through, it was a nice detour from it. And still is.
Yeah, to have a newer band like that.
Yes.
That hard.
And just to
Well,
impact it. Yeah.
Even for me, I said for years, and it's less true now because there are some good newer bands, but it's still overall it's true. Unless it's music from a band
Mm-hmm.
that was around in the 70s, 80s, something like that, there aren't a whole lot that I really have, that I really feel any major connection to,
Right.
and that I actually enjoy. Shinedown was, probably the first one that really hit me hard, and there are a handful of newer ones. We mentioned Hinder before
Mhm.
Austin left, Saving Abel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which we have another story about that again for another day.
For another day.
But there are a handful of newer bands, but a lot of them, if you look at their process and how they their influences and how they go about music, it's the same process, and their influences are those same bands that I'm talking about. Shinedown really is no different. They actually started in Florida. Brent went in with the band and got signed to Universal, or not Universal, Atlantic, sorry. And they didn't come up with anything. They fired everybody, kept Brent, and told him to put together another band. And he got Barry and the original bassist and guitarist, and put together Shinedown. They released their first 2 albums. And this album was actually where Eric Bass and Zach Myers came into the picture. Zach Myers, just little tidbit, Zach Myers at the time was dating Olivia Wilde, who is Brent Smith, the singer's cousin. That's how they met.
Ooh. I'm just impressed that he was dating Olivia Wilde.
I mean, who isn't impressed by that?
Well, after the last couple of years, I don't know. I saw a joke meme that Pete Davidson is now applied to start dating Olivia Wilde since her and Harry broke up.
I mean, this album, when you look at the track list, you see hit, 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 hit. Played on the radio, played on the radio, played on the radio, played on the radio, played on the radio. And it's not just because it's radio rock. It's because these songs actually meant something to people.
There were a lot of people that identified with these.
Yes.
When they played these songs, people are like, oh my God, I feel the same way. So they would request them all the time. They would get played constantly. And, Shinedown has a lot of other great songs, but in reality, it might be cliche, but my 2 favorite Shinedown songs will always be 45, because I relate to that song. And
there was a period where I related to that a lot.
But I related to that song more when I understood Brent's meaning behind it.
Yeah.
I didn't relate to it as I don't want to live anymore type of thing.
Yeah.
If you ever watch the live acoustic thing, Brent actually goes on to explain a lot of people interpret that song as I don't want to live anymore. I'm staring down the barrel of a 45, when in actuality, the 45 is a metaphor for the world.
Yeah.
And,
Everything is going to throw at you.
yeah, and everything it's going to throw at you, but you have to keep going. And when I finally figured that out, that song was almost an anthem for me. I listened to it constantly. And Shinedown's version of Simple Man.
Yeah.
I love Skinner to death. And Simple Man's been covered by other bands and other country artists.
Brent is the reason that
But
cover is.
Brent's vocals on that song, it every time I hear it, I get chills.
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, and I've heard it 1,000 times.
Well, and what slight sidetrack off of this album, what gave me chills was, we'll do the story quick, I had wanted to see Shinedown for a while, and hadn't been able to afford to, wasn't able to get tickets when they came to Giant Center on the Threat Survival Tour, and, I had been dating my now wife for all of 4 months, and so it was one of those, okay, yeah, I'm not going to ask her to try and help me with this, and so I thought I wasn't going to get to go, and up to that point, I had missed a bunch of concerts I had wanted to go see, so it wasn't that big of a deal to me. And 7:30 in the fucking morning.
It was more like 6:30.
No,
it was 7. 7.
You waited until at least 7.
It was 7.
I wouldn't be awake.
Yeah.
This motherfucker calls me and says, "Yo, do you want to go see Shinedown tonight?"
In a groggy state, all I hear is, "Yeah, sure, all right." And I'm like, "No, dude, I'm serious. I just won 2 tickets to go see Shinedown tonight. Do you want to go?" And then it was like something snapped. He went, "Oh hell yeah, yeah, let's go, let's go." I was like, "All right, man."
I was still groggy, by the way. It was not that clear.
But it was like, "Yeah, let's go, let's go." I was like, "All right, go back to sleep for a couple hours and then we'll head out."
So we got to go see them. They were actually really good seats. And that was them with Five Finger. Five Finger was actually headlining that night, but it was a co-headliner. But they were closing it out. And 6 a.m. and another band. I have a
We might be lions or something like that.
I have a picture I could look up, but yeah, 6 a.m. had just released like their 2-part album, and that was most of what they played. So their set kind of sucked. It wasn't done poorly. Just nobody knew the material.
And there was like maybe at the time there was hardly anybody in their seats watching 6 a.m. There was maybe 50 people on the floor. Like people were there specifically to see Shinedown and Five Finger.
Yeah.
So once 6 a.m. played, like that's when everybody started coming in, and then 6 a.m. finishes up, and boom, like this place just gets jam packed.
Yep.
It was actually the
Giant Center,
it
right?
was actually the
Excuse
very
me.
first concert that Giant Center completely sold every seat in the house that was available. Every seat. It was the very first sold out concert at Giant Center ever.
That's how big.
My friend still has her piece of chocolate that Brent handed her.
Angie?
Huh? No, another friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
She Brent, since it was Hershey, Pennsylvania, he had to go. He was actually actually at Hershey Park during the day. They went and got
That was a different show. That was a
no,
different show.
but no, the first one he went and did the Chocolate World tour, and went and bought the 5-pound chocolate bar and was breaking it up on stage, and he
Yeah,
was
it was the following one because that was the one that we were at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one with Papa Roach.
no, he was doing it at the one we were at too.
Okay, well, he didn't make as big of a deal.
He didn't make a big a deal about it, but he was like he had said, this is Hershey, so he, and it says right on our Hershey bar, share.
Yeah.
So he starts breaking it up and handing it out to people, and a friend of mine got the piece, wrapped it in a napkin, stuck it in her coat, and held on to it. And when she got home, she put it in a freezer bag, marked the date, and stuck it in her freezer. So she still has it.
Damn.
I mean, that's something special. That's like the
Yeah.
people that collected Gene Simmons' blood when he would spit it up. and
Oh.
whatnot.
Anyway.
That vile concoction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, when we got to see that, that was what I was coming back to was you're talking about the chills. That was for me. And keep in mind, at this point in time, by this point in time, I had already seen Poison, Aerosmith, Kiss twice, Journey, Heart, Cheap Trick, Skinner, Three Doors Down, Shooter Jennings.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Meatloaf twice, the Eagles.
Yep.
Trans-Siberian.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was the first time at any musical thing that I've ever been to that it was like
Oh yeah.
that there
Shania
was
Twain too.
any sort of
It was his first concert.
Yeah, any sort of religious experience, and that's literally what it felt like, and it wasn't I'll follow you to the no. It wasn't a zombie religious experience.
No, he got drunk and said, "Oh God." Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was just that, full positive vibe and everything. And this band, Shinedown, that's why they're my favorite band. They are the positivity. One of the 3 bands that saved my life. The other 2 are Korn and Metallica, because that gave me an outlet to go out and drive and get out of depression.
All right.
Shinedown brought positivity back in. And this album is a big part of it. You were talking about everything on the radio. Out of the main 11, there's only
3
4
or 4.
that they don't play anymore, and there's only 2 that I don't know if they ever did live. Cry for Help, which is track 4 after Second Chance. Honestly, my least favorite song on the album. It's not a bad song, just my least favorite. That one I don't know if they've ever, or that they've ever like filmed or
Yeah.
recently done live. Crow and the Butterfly is still a staple of their set.
Yeah.
And that was in the acoustic show. Brent talks about how everybody thinks it's, you know, this kid looking for their mother, and I think it's the other way around, that his mother lost a child, and, you know, somehow the universe just, because it wasn't like he read anything or anything like that, it just sort of came to him, and that he was being kind of a conduit for that message for the kid to say, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
If You Only Knew was based on him talking to his wife and basically apologizing to his wife. It's kind of his version of Alice Cooper's How You Gonna See Me Now.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to understand this album was Brent getting sober.
Mm-hmm. While they were recording this, he got a phone call and said, Are you sitting down? Good. In 9 months, you're going to be a father.
Yeah.
And that was his now, I think they're still married, his
Yeah.
now wife,
Yeah.
pregnant with his first kid, Lyric. And
So Brent was just as big a partier as you hear, you know, the Hollywood style, the, you know, rock star life. He was an addict, everything like that.
oh yeah, he was. I mean, second album, but Save Me.
Yeah.
You know, I got a candle, I got a spoon. I live in a hallway with no doors and no rooms. Yeah, he was a drug addict, and not that he hadn't tried to get clean, but he said that phone call was when he stopped doing drugs. Like after that phone call, he has not done drugs since.
And you'll also notice that this album is where Brent cut his hair.
It was after this.
Yeah. After this album was completed, he cut his hair.
And the tour and everything.
Because it represented a new leaf on life.
New leaf.
New leaf, new leaf.
Lease.
New lease.
Lease, yes.
It's not I am a leaf on the wind.
Whatever. it was a new it was him starting over.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and he has, as far as drugs are concerned, he has been clean.
Oh yeah.
Part of the title of Threat to Survival was actually the fact that during the making of that album, he started drinking again. And it wasn't like he was going in the studio plastered, or he was getting, you know, blackout drunk or anything, but he started drinking again. And it was, the tour from that was basically his detox.
Mm-hmm.
And, excuse me, that's really where, you know, that whole thing, that's where the name of the album came from, was that. And as far as I'm aware, he has been completely clean since.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the album, you know, after Crow and the Butterfly, you have, if you only know, you have Sin with a Grin.
Which is one I don't know that they did, but I really like that song. But it's a really fun, fast rocker. I don't know if they've done it since that.
It's kind of interesting how this album goes. You know, it opens with a punch, slows down a little bit, starts getting punchy again, and then slows down.
Yeah.
And it's like the album's like a roller coaster ride. It's the best way to explain it. Like you start off, you're going uphill, you know, and then it drops you down on the second song, and then the third song is, you know, Second Chance. It's a little slower, so you're just kind of going straight or going around a turn, and then Cry for Help is a little slower. You start coming.
Cry for Help is.
Oh yeah, Cry for Help is heavier, so you start going back up again. It's, you know, it's up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, this flows a little bit better. A couple weeks ago we did, we did Hinder's All American Nightmare, and I love that album. But it's literally like you have the first two songs,
Mm-hmm.
you have Two Sides of Me, then All American Nightmare, and then you have Ballad Rocker, Ballad Rocker,
Yep.
Ballad Rocker. This one has a much better flow. And then after Sin with a Grin, which is huge, big, heavy, fast rocker, you have What a Shame, which is actually about his relationship with his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, honestly, if you listen to the song, you can see the details in that. And that's a really slow one. Cyanide Sweet Tooth Suicide brings it right back up that one I know they did for the concert tour.
Yeah.
Because they filmed that at Kennewick, but I don't. I think I've heard them do it once. I think one of the shows that I went to, because I've seen them 3 times at Giant Center now. I think this last one they played it because it surprised the hell out of me. Because they hadn't done it in forever. And that's another. That one's a little bit more. I understand why they didn't do it. I mean, he mentions Anna Nicole and he cusses, which he tries not to do so much anymore. Not that
Yeah.
he's doing it a whole hell of a lot to start with.
See, that's another great thing about like Brent's writing is he doesn't feel the need to add in, you know, F this or any of that to make his music any better.
No, and this one, I believe in Cyanide Sweet to Suicide is the only F-bomb on the entire album, and it's fuck the silver, let's go straight for the gold.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure as far as the base album is concerned, that's the only F-bomb one, and Amaryllis had a couple songs that had it in, but again, it wasn't, it was kind of like the end of I Don't Care About You, my original, where my last line is, you know, sorry you're out of luck, where will you sleep tomorrow, I don't give a fuck.
But he doesn't use that on stage.
It depends on the crowd.
Yeah.
Most of the time there end up being younger people, or I know there are people who would be offended. That's why I change it. But that one, I didn't write that to swear. It was just, oh, that rhymes, and that's like perfect.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it did. And I may have discussed it at one point, but Amaryllis did not get a parental advisory sticker. Not saying that it should have. It's not like it was overuse of swearing or anything, but they did say fuck a couple of times. But it didn't get a sticker. Miranda Lambert's album that came out at the same time did because the end of one song is a line that they cut off from radio where she says, "Come and get your shit." That dichotomy. That's one of
I think a lot of it though was the record companies doing that too.
Yeah, but that's one of the things. That's why corporate labels still suck.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I don't think that there should.
Well, so much for us getting a record deal.
Fuck you, corporate
yeah,
labels.
Yeah.
Why do you think I made my own company? But they're, my thing is, you have it for hers, which again, I don't think it should have it on there. It doesn't need it, but you have it on hers. Why is it not on Amaryllis? You know, it's the difference in the standards.
Yeah.
It's the double standards that bother me. But off the Cyanide Sweet to Suicide, which is really fun and I enjoy it, and a lot of that one is kind of tongue in cheek. You have Breaking Inside, which may be better known for the version that they did where they had Lizzie Hale come in and record some of the vocals in a very similar way to, not that Lizzie and Brent were dating, but in a very similar way to Seether bringing in Amy Lee for Broken. It's that same kind of duet feel.
And the last song on the album,
Call Me.
my favorite song on the album.
Definitely my favorite slow song.
Like it's one of those songs that definitely it hits home for anybody who really listens to it.
It's one of those you don't necessarily even need to. It doesn't need context. You don't necessarily need to listen to the lyrics. It's more of a feel thing, and it's even if you just listen to it instrumental, you can kind of feel the ride that's being taken.
And I mean, in the lyrics in the song, "Call me a sinner, call me a saint," you know, it doesn't matter. I still love you the same.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that.
Your favorite, call me the worst.
Yeah. Like you can tell what the song's about, and a lot of people can relate to that. They can relate to the upsets with a girl or a family member, or something like that. Like nobody's perfect, and everybody's gonna fuck up. But it's really, how does this other person see you? And you can see me as a good guy. You can see me as a bad guy. I still want you no matter what.
Yeah. if you're taking it out of the relationship aspect, I still want to be, I still, this is where I'm at home.
Yeah.
Basically I'll respect your decision, but this is home for me. Left a spare key on the table, never really thought I'd be able to say I merely visit on the weekends, lost my whole life in a dear friend. It's even without listening to the lyrics, you can, again, lyrics give context, but you can feel that whole journey through that song just from the, I don't feel right calling it a riff, but from the melody and everything, which is part of why we've never done this, because one, I've tried and never felt I was able to sing it properly, and it's just the stretch that it's making is actually kind of hard to do on a guitar.
So I cover Second Chance, and in covering that song, I can't hit Brent's vocals, but I do try and sing in an octave lower.
Yeah.
So that way I'm not trying to stress to hit those notes.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily saying that Brent's hitting really high notes, but he's hitting really powerful notes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Like I haven't trained my voice to be that powerful for that long.
It's even without the being that long, it takes quite a bit. Because that's actually part of what I did, and we've gone through the whole album. We can get into this just a little bit. One of the things, if you're trying to hit high notes, and this is something I told you a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When we were just dicking around, drinking beer and playing stuff. Try to push, and if you watch us play live, you'll hear me do it. Excuse me. Big example is Radiohead's Creep, but you'll hear me do it in other places too. When I do Hurt, I push that note with growl, and and the growl doesn't really hurt my throat. That's how my singing voice is.
Lucky you.
But that's the easier singing voice for me. But I don't necessarily try to hit the high note. I keep it lower, but I hit the growl, and it's the same idea, just kind of maybe a little bit in a different way. I put the growl and the power under it to get a similar effect to that high note. Creep, I just straight up drop it down an octave because Muse and Radiohead, nobody can hit those fucking falsettos.
No. I mean, like, and Brent doesn't hit falsetto. Like I said, it's the power behind.
He doesn't even do that note most of the time anymore.
No, but like the power behind his voice alone. Like, there's nobody can really mimic it. Like, I've heard bands who have tried to cover the Shinedown version of Simple Man, and I've walked out on them because
my vocal is a lot closer to Brent's.
Like, I've literally walked out when they're trying to do that song because you can tell the difference between the Shinedown version and the Skinnerd version as soon as they start playing it. You can tell the difference. Now, the question is, how is the vocalist going to sing it? Now, if the vocalist, keeps it real and kind of still sings it like the Skinnerd version, not really trying to hit those powerful notes and anything, then okay, it doesn't sound the greatest, but it's respectable. But then you get guys that are trying to actually do the Shinedown version
and have no idea how to get there.
And their voice, they start using the power, and halfway through the note, you hear them go, like, yeah, like you can hear it in their voice just straining, and it's like, no, this sounds like crap.
Yep, the gremlins got fed. No, musically we generally stick with the original, but vocally, I lean more heavily on Shinedown's version, but a lot of what he puts into that, I can do.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, it's easier for me to do. So,
see, I can do the Skinner version with no problem.
Yeah. And then that's just...
Then again, I look up to Ronnie Van Zant for vocals. Like, that man had an amazing voice.
Yeah, it's just some people's voices are built differently, and especially when you're doing covers, if you're the one singing it, figure out how to fit it within. That's why when we bring something up, unless it's something that one of us specifically wants to sing, it'll be okay. Do we want to do this song? If everybody yes, okay. Who can sing it better?
Yep. We went through a couple songs like that where everybody tried to sing it, and it just got to the point where it was like,
There
yep,
was one that we dropped because
yep, nobody could hit it right.
One that we
Yeah.
actually dropped, but nobody could do it right.
I forget which song that was, but
Yeah, but I mean, even him and I, if we bring something up, it's like, okay, unless it's something like Carry Me. Well, granted, your voice fit better for that
Yeah.
anyway, but Carry Me, Carry, that was one that we wanted to sing.
Yeah.
Like, there have been a couple that I've brought up that it's like, I want to sing this one. Please come to Boston. I want to sing that.
see when I'm choosing,
And neither one of us could have done that one.
Yeah.
when like I'm choosing songs, a lot of times like in my repertoire I have Taylor Swift's Mean. Now we all know T Swizzle has a higher pitched voice and and how she sings her songs. So
Well, I would hope her voice is higher pitched than yours.
have you ever heard like some of the female vocalists talk? Like they have lower voices.
Yeah.
But like Taylor Swift,
Dude, I saw Butcher Babies live at HMAC. Yeah,
I-
I know
alright.
how some of these girls can sing.
but I practice that song by just using my talking voice
Yeah.
but like holding the notes out a little bit and keeping it around a much lower octave because I could never try and mimic that.
Yeah.
And if I did try and mimic that, people would probably want to see me in a dress.
And they would say you're not too swift, are you?
Yeah. Try to make it funny. Nobody laughs.
Yeah.
I just want to see if you'd actually wear a dress on stage sober.
I'd do it. I'd do it.
I don't want to see it.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry. I don't want to see it. Yeah.
The question is, are you gonna
Maybe
put
I'd
it
peek a little.
in, the question is, are you going to put it in the same prep that Tommy B does?
I am not shaving my entire body just to wear a dress. If I'm wearing a dress and it comes down to like my knees or whatever, all right, I'll shave the bottom of my legs. But I ain't going full swimmer like he did.
Yeah, but he enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know he did. And the sad part about it was he pulled it off.
Yeah.
Tommy dressed as Wonder Woman a couple of times. Once when he was drumming for us, and because he was going to a Halloween party that night, and he did what was it, Ladies' Night at Sherman's Creek?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
did it again with fake boobs as well.
Yep.
The sad part about it is he pulled it off.
Mm-hmm. Well, some guys are better at being girls
This
than others.
Halloween, he went as Gomez Adams at the Halloween party that we were at, and he pulled that off too.
Yeah, well, that one fits him a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Because his girl went as Morticia, and I mean they both pulled it off. It's funny though, she was wearing like these like platform boots, and she went to go throw something out in the trash can and had like the lever, and she went to put her foot down. She goes, I can't open the trash can.
However, if you listen to Kiss, platform boots do help with ramps.
Yes.
Because I remember Paul Stanley talking about, because I think they were going around cameras, taking the ramp up there, and he's like, I'm almost out of breath, so many steps, get 6-inch platform boots, it's like 5 steps on the back of the stage.
But that's all a side note thing.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
But no, once again, Shinedown, Sound of Madness, great album overall.
Yeah, if you have not really listened to Shinedown, give this album a shot. I would say don't start with as great of albums as they are. Don't start with Attention or Planet Zero.
I'll tell you what, if you have a subscription to Apple Music, when you go in and you search Shine, that's hard to say. Search
Only for
Shinedown,
you. Search Shinedown.
Like under albums, it'll have like Shinedown Essentials.
Yeah.
If you just click on that, it's got
It's an Apple playlist. Yeah.
that's literally every one of their great songs, and it's not just songs they play on the radio either. It's like great songs.
Yeah. It's most of their repertoire.
Yeah.
But the stuff that they play on the radio, the stuff they've released as singles, and the stuff they've released most recently is what's at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Because that's the Ghost Essentials one. Changed after they released after they finally released "Call Me a Little Sunshine," and then after they actually released "Marry on a Cross" as a single because people were using it on TikTok. But
We no speak about Ghost.
anyway,
I'm afraid of ghosts.
I'm afraid of that band.
I'm not. They're awesome. Anyway,
So yeah, check out Shinedown, Sound of Madness. Third album
Yes.
came out in 2008. 11
And
tracks, well worth the time.
14 plus years later.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, what
Yes.
it's what 68 minutes long.
I don't know what the duration is.
It's-
Like I said, I have the deluxe version.
Yeah, so do I. But I think the original version is only a little over an hour long,
If that.
and it's it's well worth it. You can sit down, listen to it from beginning to end. Like I said, it's a roller coaster. It'll have you up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's definitely well worth a listen.
And most likely you're gonna like at least something on it, if not most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bad album. There's really no bad songs on it. There are songs that we like better than others, but every song on it is 8 out of 10 at least.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there's not a whole lot of albums that I can.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of albums I can say I like that much.
Maybe 20 that I can say are that level, and that's stretching it quite a bit.
Understand that this kid's got a huge music collection.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean-
so do I. So
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, that I mean, I don't. So when you're saying maybe 20, I'm going, well, hell, that's half of my music collection.
No, I have about 70 gigs worth of music saved.
yeah, at one point in time, I probably had about 2 terabytes worth of music,
Mhm.
and that's like because
I will never listen to all of that.
No, but it's stuff that like I would download an album and it would come with unreleased music and like packages with videos and
Yeah, it would be the album was originally 8 tracks, and you download it, and it's like
45
the
tracks,
super deluxe,
Yes.
like
demo versions of songs and stuff like
yeah,
that.
like
And
it was either Siamese Dream or Melancholy that
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins just re-released, and it's like the original album was like 12 tracks, and download it's like 72 because there's like a remastered version of the album, all these demo tracks,
Yeah.
which is cool if you want to know that stuff.
Are we kind of getting off track here?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes,
But so yeah, Sound of Madness. Check it out.
absolutely. Shinedown, yeah.
If you're already part of the Discord, thank you. If you're not part of the Discord,
Join the Discord. Join the Discord. Join the Discord.
see you next week.
Join the Discord.